This is the peer teach problem D. Now remember, if as you are a peer teacher, a good peer teacher or a good peer tutor pesters. Your job is to create dialogue and not simply dictate answers. You need to ask more questions than give answers. You need to elect your quad mates to read questions out loud. So a good peer tutor pesters, creates dialogue, asks more questions than give answers, and elects others to do the reading. Let's take a look at problem number D. It says, in the circles below, tangent at T. The circles are tangent at T. And they're centered at M and N. So both M and N are circle centers, two different circles. It's important you keep that in mind. And ST is tangent to both circles. Tangent to both circles. So we're going to trace and extend ST. It's tangent to both circles. So that SN and also given SN and SM are perpendicular. S to M is 22, and T to N as a segment is 25, and the measure of SNT, SNT is 40. So we're going to start at S, go to N, go to T, trace and sweep. That alone is 40. Our job is to find all possible angle measures and segment lengths. Okay, let's look at what's really, really simple to understand. Ready? I'd like you to trace both radii. So there's one radius, the blue. We already have this radius. And we have a tangent. You hear that word tangent and radius? You should instantly be able to start singing F tangent to a radius, radius, radius of tangent to a radius, right angle at the edge. That is the first thing I want you to do when you peer tutor, is get them to trace and sing at the same time. So we have right angles going both ways. Next thing is to ask yourself this: how many triangles do you see? How many triangles do you see there? I'd like you to trace the triangles you actually see there. Now, two triangles are pretty obvious. You have this triangle on the left. You have this triangle on the right. But there's technically three triangles here, because then we have this triangle on the outside. Make sure your quad mate, when they're doing this problem, they see that outside triangle. Let's take a moment and pull these triangles out and redraw them, and try to draw them to scale. So let's bring this orange triangle apart here. And bring down that right angle. And then the measurements that we actually have here, which is we have the 40 degrees here. And we have the 22 length there. And then pull apart. Let's bring down this yellow triangle. And it has a right angle right down at the corner on the left. 40 degrees is still here. And then we have this length, which is 25. And then we have this triangle here on the left. And here's your right angle. This is SMT. This is ST. and this is MSN, and this length we have right here is 22. Now our goal is to find all possible lengths and angle measures. Now you should instantly, the minute you heard the word perpendicular or right angle, you should instantly start thinking of what's considered the right triangle toolbox. Now this is what I'd like you to get your classmates to write out. Let's come up here. There's 5 things you can do with right triangles. Get them to list those. Even if they don't think they need them, get them to list those 5 things. I'm going to pause for a minute here, about 30 seconds. I'm going to see if you can't list those 5 things at the top with a 5 right triangle toolbox. Go. Ready? First thing, order doesn't matter, just make sure you have them all, would be the Pythagorean theorem. Leg squared plus leg squared equals hypo squared. SOHCAHTOA, which we use for sides. Inverse SOHCAHTOA, which we use for angles. 30, 60, 90, and 45, 45, 90 triangles. Ready? Let's start looking at what we can find here. Let's start with something simple. Look at this orange triangle. That's 90. That's 40. So let's come over here and find this angle right over here. Notice that's also going to be part of the blue angle. So we're going to go 90 plus 40. Of course, that's 130. Take it away from 180. And we get 50. So this angle right here is 50. We're going to pull that 50 over. And that 50 is also going to come over here. Now you have everything you need. Take a very close look. None of the triangles can be 30, 60, 90 because we don't see 30, 60, 90 here, or 45, 45, 90. We already have all the angles. All the angles are either 40 or 50. So we need side lengths. And to do side lengths, everything else from here on out, you can either use SOHCAHTOA or if we get 2 sides, Pythagorean theorem. I'm only going to do 2 of these with you, and it's your job to find everything else. Ready? And then check your answers. So, for example, I'm going to use 40 as my marker because that's where I'm going to start. So from 40, I'm going to label, there's my opposite, there's my adjacent, there's my hypo. I'm going to find my hypo first. So I have my opposite side. I need my hypo. I got an OH. So that's going to be so. You write sine of theta over 1 equals opposite over hypo. Let's do our math here. That's going to be sine of 40 degrees over 1 equals opposite 22 over hypo. Let's just call it x. If you cross multiply, you're going to end up with sine of 40 times x equals 22. I'm going to divide both sides by sine of 40. I'm going to bring it up here at the top because we're running out of space. X therefore equals 22 divided by the sine of 40 degrees. So you get your calculator out. And we're going to go for, ready? 22 divided by the sine of 40 degrees. Take everything to the second decimal place. We get 34.23. Make sure you're able to do that math yourself. Okay, so let's take a look at what we just found. We just found this whole side from here to here is 34.23. We already have the 25, so it's really easy to find this segment, which is going to be m to t, by doing 34.23 and subtracting 25. The pink. And that gets us 9.23. Now from here on out, to find these segments, you simply use various forms of SOHCAHTOA. Okay, so you're going to find S to N using SOHCAHTOA, which is the same as this S to N. S to T using SOHCAHTOA, which is the same as this S to T. So technically, you only have to do SOHCAHTOA twice here because a lot of these are duplicates. When you're done, you're going to check your answers on the board.